Well, hello and welcome. I'm Misheard with Misheard Song Lyrics Podcast. We're in Season 7, Episode 331. The misheard lyric is, she buffed, he buffed, we buffed, I buffed, you buffed, they buffed, be buffed, she buffed. And the correct lyrics is, she bop, he bop, we bop, I bop, you bop, they bop, bebop, she bop. All right, if you haven't guessed it already, we are doing a misheard song lyric of Cyndi Lauper's song, She Bop. Okay, first of all, I want to give a shout out. Because thanks to listener Steve, he actually emailed me at our misheard song lyrics email address, and he provided this amazing misheard song lyric for this week's episode. And I'm going to put a quote from Steve's email. He wrote, I remember hearing this song as a kid in the car. I couldn't make out the lyrics. Like, is she singing about barfing? No, she isn't. But boy, does it sound like it. Now I can't hear it. So thanks, Steve, and I appreciate the misheard song lyric for this week. All right, so the last time for you first-time listeners and maybe long-time listeners is that I did a Cyndi Lauper misheard song lyric way back on Season 5, Episode 234. So back on February 21st, 2024. So almost 2 years ago. I found love was the misheard lyric from Girls Just Want to Have Fun. So the misheard lyric then for that episode was, I found love in the morning light, when really she's saying, I come home in the morning light. So I'm excited to delve into this second Cyndi Lauper misheard song lyric. So when people think of the 1980s pop music, they often think of bright colors, catchy hooks, songs that feel fun, but maybe not very deep. But every once in a while, a pop song comes along like this one that sounds playful, while quietly doing something bold underneath the surface, literally. Today, again, we're going to be talking about She Bop by Cyndi Lauper. It's a track that confused some listeners, like Steve, thinking they were saying barfing, surprised others, like myself, when I realized, oh, this is what this song's about, and pushed boundaries in a way that was subtle, clever, and most importantly, completely on Cyndi Lauper's terms. So let's talk about the details. So She Bop was released back on July 2nd, 1984, wow, and debuted on the Billboard Hot 100 at number 52 in the issue dated July 21st, 1984, and spent a total of 18 weeks on the chart, reaching a peak position of number 3 in the issue dated September 8th, 1994. It was the third single from Cyndi Lauper's debut album to make the top 10 of the Hot 100, and then the single also reached number 10 on the Hot Dance Club Play Songs chart of the week of September 15th, 1984, and placed at number 34 on Billboard's year-end chart of 1984. And then on April 17th, 1989, so roughly 5 years later, the song was certified gold by the RIAA, or Recording Industry Association of America, for the shipment of 500,000 copies across the U.S. And remember, back then, you weren't streaming. You were driving, walking, skateboarding, biking to your local radio store to get this song. Okay, so who is Cyndi Lauper for those of you that have been living in Iraq all these years? Well, before we talk about She Bop, let's talk about Cyndi Lauper herself. She arrived in the early 1980s, sound like no one else. She also didn't look like everyone else. Her voice was expressive, elastic, and instantly recognizable. She could be playful one moment and emotional the next. But really set us apart was not just only her sound, it was her what we call artistic independence. She actually co-wrote much of her material. She had strong opinions about her image, and she didn't try to fit into the typical mold expected of female pop artists at the time. In an era where women in pop were carefully packaged, Cyndi Lauper leaned into being different, which I love. I think her first album is called She's So Unusual. Perfect. Since I did this misheard song lyric today for this episode, and the one I did 2 years ago, things have even gone up for her. She had been inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2023. She was among the nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but not formally inducted. So she was in there to I guess, vote from. Seeing my name on this year's ballot with so many talents that I admire means so much to me, she had said. She adds, it's been a lifetime privilege to reach out to so many different kinds of fans with a message of following your own path and having fun along the way, said Lauper. Well, it came to fruition this year in 2025. She was finally inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And we love you, Cyndi Lauper. Here's other things that she has gained with her hard work. She has 2 Grammy Awards, a Primetime Emmy Award, a Tony Award, 3 MTV Video Music Awards, 4 Billboard Music Awards, 2 American Music Awards, and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She's also one of the few singers to win 3 of the 4 major American Entertainment Awards. So the EGOT is what the acronym is. So it's an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. All she's missing in is Oscar. She just needs to be in a movie, wins an Oscar, she's got it. And she can join the likes of like Whoopi Goldberg and others that have hit that EGOT or EGOT status. In 2015, she was inducted to the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and her album, like I was just saying earlier, She's So Unusual album, ranked among Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. And VH1 named time after time one of the best songs of the preceding 25 years and named Cyndi Lauper the 58th greatest woman in rock and roll. Yes, yes, yes. So to understand why She Bop was innovative, you have to look at the music world it entered. Early 1980s pop radio favorites. So they like safe love songs, clearly defined themes, simple messages that wouldn't challenge listeners. Songs, especially by women, were expected to be relatable, but not confrontational. Expressive, but not too personal. And She Bop didn't break these rules loudly, it broke them quietly. And here's why. Musically, She Bop is deceptively simple. I always thought that too until I started to hear it being sung at a local live band karaoke. It is not an easy song to sing. I don't know how it is to play it. It's upbeat, driven by synthesizers, and built for radio. On first listen, it sounds like pure fun, almost cartoonish in its energy, but that's the brilliance of it. Cyndi Lauper used a playful melody, rhythmic repetition, a title phrase that feels abstract. All this created a kind of musical camouflage. Listeners could sing the song without immediate questioning, what's this about? And that allowed it to reach a wide audience without being dismissed or censored outright. Here it comes. What made She Bop innovative wasn't shock value, it was perspective. At its core, the song centers around self-awareness, personal autonomy, not needing approval to be yourself. At a time when pop songs often framed women through romance or relationships, She Bop focused inward. It suggested that your inner life matters, you don't need outside permission to understand yourself, and then curiosity and independence aren't things to be ashamed of. And that was a big idea for mainstream pop, especially in 1984. So not everyone knew what to do with She Bop. Some listeners missed the point entirely. I was one of them. Others sensed there was something different about it, even though they couldn't quite name it. The song ended up on lists of controversial tracks we'll talk about in a second, not because it was explicit, because it was a hint of some kind of self-ownership, which made some people uncomfortable. The reaction says a lot about the time period. The song wasn't aggressive, it wasn't graphic, it was simply honest. So let's talk about it. The song is about masturbation. Heads up if you didn't know about that. It was included on the Parents Music Resource Center's Filthy 15 list in 1984. I've talked about this in previous Misheard Song Lyric episodes. Because it was considered profane or sexually explicit, this led to the creation of the parental advisory sticker. So it would have had a sticker on it. Lauper had stated that finding a copy of gay men's magazine Blue Boy lying around in the recording studio provided the impetus of writing She Bop. The magazine is mentioned in the first verse. It is, if you want to take a look. So that's what it's about. And of course now, if you imagine 84, I mean now it still kind of ruffles some feathers, as one would say, but to actually have it in a song and what She Bop means that's what she meant, masturbation. So I looked at the music video. I'm like, okay, does the music video kind of give hints? Oh my God, so many hidden Easter eggs. First of all, it was uploaded officially on YouTube back on October 25th, 2009. Since then, we've had about 29.7 million views and counting. So the music video for She Bop was directed by Ed Grills. Mark Merrick designed the characters in the animated sections of the music video because there's some cartoon, which were produced and directed by Jerry Lieberman of New York City's Jerry Lieberman Productions. And the cover of the US 12-inch version, Wendy Richter, Lou Albano, and Gary Howard Clark appeared in the video, with Richter lip-syncing the first line of the song. And I'll go into more about who's also in this episode or in this music video, like her other music videos, because I already gave away that Lou Albano, which aka wrestler Captain Lou Albano. The video expands upon the references to masturbation in the song's lyric, although not overtly, as what you can find on the internet. Among the images presented are an upright bottle shooting mayonnaise into the air, a sign at a gas station that displays Get Off Here, but it's GIT. Gas pumps label Good X, Better XX, Nirvana XXX, single and multiple. A large sign that she points that reads self-service. I love that. A dance sequence where Lauper portrays a blind person with a cane, and that's someone winning a game of Master Bingo, both a reference to the myth that masturbation causes blindness. Most of the blatant references appear during the animated instrumental sequence, although subtle images are seen throughout the live action scenes. Here we go. Wrestler Captain Lou Albano was in Cyndi Lauper's She Bop video that I'm talking about right now, playing a similar like father authority figure like he did in Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And also Cyndi Lauper's real mother, Katrine Dominique, also appeared in She Bop, just like she did as playing her mom and Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I love that. She's like, Mom, you're going to be in all my videos. At the 1985 MTV Video Music Award, the video was nominated for Best Female Video, but lost. And it lost to my favorite as well, What's Love Got to Do with It, Tina Turner. So it did not win, but Tina Turner did. And the British music magazine Melody Maker complimented the video, saying it worked well because Lauper, quote unquote, had a certain boop cheek charm, also because the superb bits of animation used in it. All right, so that's the video. Check it out. I hadn't seen it since it came out in the 80s, and it brought back a lot of memories. And now as an adult, I understand, that's the subtle references. Today, She Bop is often remembered as a fun 80s hit, a quirky Cyndi Lauper classic, but its real legacy is how it helped normalize the idea that pop music, especially by women, could be both playful and thoughtful, catchy and meaningful, and personal without apology. It opened doors for artists who want to talk about self-expression without fitting into a neat box. And a fun fact, I am living here in the northwestern part of the United States in a town called Portland, Oregon, and we got 2 She Bop stores. So started by women, and it is adult toy stores, and we have 2 of them called She Bop. So check it out. I might have to after doing this episode. In conclusion, She Bop didn't shout its message. It danced, it smiled, it invited viewers in and trusted them to figure things out on their own pace. That's why it makes it innovative. Cyndi Lauper provided that it didn't have to sacrifice fun to say something important. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone to be understood. Sometimes the most powerful statements come wrapped in a pop hook, which She Bop did. And I'm going to probably try to sing this next time. So if you have any great suggestions, like what our listener Steve did and sent me an email, I'm so glad he did. You can send it to our sites like Instagram, Facebook, or like what Steve did. Email me at missheard, that's MISSHEARD songs @gmail.com. Till then, keep singing the songs wrong. Bye.